sites that have been famous for being bases of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. Abu Kamal is a small town on the border between Iraq and Syria that has been completely taken over by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards in the last few years. And they're using this town and this, what has become their base, to smuggle lots of different, very accurate, high precise, and high quality weapons from Iraq to Syria. This is a road that is used to be at least quite open for them. And this has been the target for many attacks, allegedly from the side of Israel. Now, the other two sites attacked are Al Mayadin and Deir az-Zur, both of them also known to be bases of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, and both of them were targets for Israeli attacks in the past. Now, this attack is a bit different than what we've seen in the last few months. It's a very wide attack, a lot of different targets at the same night, and it's not the first nor the second attack this month. This is the fourth attack attributed to Israel in Syria in the last 3 weeks, definitely stepping up the rate of attacks. It could be using an opportunity before the administration in Washington changes, while the current administration somewhat gives Israel backup and allows it to attack in Syria. And also a much more simple reason for Israel to use this opportunity to attack in Syria is simply the weather, which is convenient for airplanes right now. These could be two reasons that we're seeing this stepping up in the rate of attacks in Syria.
The attacks have been going on since 2011 and, as you said, intensifying over the course of the past year. Towards the fourth election in Israel, are we due to see more intensified campaigns? Is this a factor as well, you believe?
Well, it's hard to say if these factors will mix with each other. Usually the considerations when attacking these weapon deliveries or alleged weapon deliveries in Syria have to do with the opportunity to take them down and prevent these attempts of smuggling these very high precise weapons from Iraq into Syria. We might see more attacks such as this. Just last December, that's not too long ago, a month ago, Israeli Chief of Staff Aviv Kochavi said that Israel attacked over 500 targets in the last year, and that some of these attacks slowed down very much the Iranian basing in Syria. So we are expected to see more of these attacks. It's hard to say what exactly will the rate be.
Okay. One last word for me. We'll have a report later on about a speech by Mike Pompeo. Again, a moment before leaving office, he calls on Iran he calls Iran a stronghold for Al-Qaeda. Any reactions from Israel or from Iran to that speech?
Well, we're not seeing direct reactions from Israel, but we can assume that this is somewhat coordinated between Israel and the United States. This tying of Iran to a notorious terror organization, maybe the one with the worst brand name in the United States, having its responsibility for the 9/11 terror attack. A last attempt of the Trump administration to tie Iran to one of the worst enemies of the United States, and maybe try to slow down a little bit the next administration from coming back to the negotiation table with Iran.